Contemplating Co-sharing.
The issue of housing continues to be a major concern in Queensland, as housing affordability continues to decline. Also, as the population ages, elderly isolation and loneliness have become a more prevalent issue. Internationally, a number of intergenerational co-sharing models have been implemented successfully to combat these social issues and create a sustainable housing solution. However, there has been no research into the initiative within an Australian context. This is why Anglicare Southern Queensland is proposing a similar co-share model based on a support-driven exchange to provide a stable housing solution for care leavers who are young adults leaving foster care or residential care and are at greater risk of experiencing homelessness, with the aim to pair them with an elderly homeowner to provide companionship and potentially informal care to those who may lack support and face feelings of loneliness and isolation.
As such, this research aims to gain a better understanding of the opinions and willingness to be involved in a co-share model from both stakeholders. This includes how they envision this model could be implemented sustainably. To do this, our research aims to reveal 1. What are the elderly and care leavers' opinions on sharing a home? Are these opinions shared or divided? 2. What do the elderly and care leavers believe would make a co-sharing living situation fair and equitable? And 3. How willing are the elderly and care leavers to be involved in this co-share model? What are the positives and negatives that they see towards this model?
In order to conduct this research, a qualitative method was adopted in the form of 4 one-on-one interviews with care leavers and 2 focus groups with elderly participants, recruited through Anglicare's Respite Centre. A thematic analysis process revealed 4 key themes: compatibility, fairness, adaptability, and security. The first theme, compatibility, was highlighted by both participant groups. There was a level of uncertainty surrounding who they would be sharing their space with, including concerns of conflicting lifestyles, habits, and personalities.
I think that our biggest problem of living alone is disturbing it by having somebody there who's not compatible.
However, there was a general willingness to form these connections, and one elderly participant group discussed the importance of listening to form relationships. Both participant groups identified that the model goes beyond a solely transactional relationship and depends on social compatibility to allow for loyal connections between these 2 parties.
I think it depends on the person. It kind of just depends on what your relationship is like or how it tends to be when you first meet them. So if you click, it depends on the energy. You can kind of tell when you first meet them.
The second theme that emerged was fairness, as participants reflected on how this model could be implemented with focus on sustainability and stability.
It has to be a two-way street. If there's not a two-way street, it won't work.
The idea of creating a fair exchange of benefits, including support, companionship, and stability, is one that is reflected strongly throughout social exchange theory, which revolves around creating a practical equilibrium through a reciprocal exchange. To achieve reciprocity within the exchange, participants identified that clear communication of the cost and rewards involved in the model would need to be discussed.
Thirdly, the theme of adaptability revealed varied opinions. For the care leavers and elderly participants who had previously lived with strangers, adaptability appeared to be less concerning as there was a greater understanding for the adjustments required to form a comfortable living situation.
It depends on the person they are and whether they are willing to adapt to your ways as you would adapt to their ways.
The care leavers in particular were open to adapting to the change of living with someone with a generational gap. However, some elderly participants struggled with the idea of adapting their lifestyle to a stranger. Participants expressed feelings of concern about adapting the details of their routines around another, like having to navigate different TV programs.
The final theme our research highlighted was that both care leavers and elderly homeowners stress the importance of security. For elderly participants, security concerns revolved around personal and property security.
I've had people in and I've had stuff lost and go missing, so I'd really love to trust them.
To combat this, discussions around conducting background checks were raised by both care leavers and elderly to ensure the safety of participants. For care leavers, housing security and stability were the main concerns.
I wouldn't want the old person to be in a bad mood and just kick me out because they just didn't want me there anymore.
In saying this, care leavers also found that the model would provide a greater level of housing security as it creates another housing option to prevent homelessness.
Co-sharing model proposed by Anglicare between caregivers and elderly homeowners aims to address significant current societal issues, including housing instability, youth homelessness, elderly loneliness, and social isolation. From the participants we interviewed, caregivers appeared to have an interest in being involved in the model, whilst the elderly participants seemed to be more wary of how it would be implemented. Anglicare continues to work with other stakeholders to introduce this co-share model and is looking to engage variances, including additional demographics, to the model.
Thank you to our instructors, Anglicare Southern Queensland, and everyone involved in this research. Without your valuable support and input, this research would not have been possible.